Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Maseches Kinnim, Perek Gimel. So it's Chav Gimel Amud Beis, according to the Daf count. It's the third Perek, final Perek of Maseches Kinnim. Perhaps we'll just make a run for it till the end of the Perek, the end of the Masechta, and tomorrow, Be'ezus Hashem, we'll start Maseches Tamid. So we have the third Perek, which relates back to the previous Prakim, in the sense that up until now we spoke about the proper way of proceeding when you have a mix-up of birds. And we're speaking about Kinnim, pairs of birds. Typically a cane is comprised of chatas and oila. It could be specified as such, and it could be stuma. So the person bought the pair of birds for a chayva, to address an obligation. She gave birth, he was a zav, etc. So you can leave it unspecified, undesignated until further notice, until the kohen is makrav. At this point, it's called a stuma, unspecified pair, which is slated to become one chatas and one oila. Then you could have a fellow who donated a pair of birds, neder, nadava, in which case they're both carbon oila, double oila. So we spoke about mix-ups, all types of variations, scenarios of birds getting confused, mixing up, identities unknown, whether it's pairs of the same women or different women, equal amounts, unequal amounts, and we discussed how to proceed. For instance, if you have a chatos, a bird that had been labeled a chatos, flying into a whole bunch of other birds, you don't know which one's which, they're all doomed. There's no recourse. Yomusu. We have other situations where we say a percentage of the total configuration can still be okay. The kohen should do such and such. So all that was b'kohen nimlach. He came to seek advice. He came to the Rav for instructions. This parak will refer to a kohen who did his own thing. He wasn't the consulting type. He went and proceeded on his own. What happens now? Says the Mishnah on the bottom of Gimel Beis. B'meh dvar mamur. When is it said? When do we have those formulas? B'kohen nimlach. Regarding a kohen who came to ask for instructions. We told him, do such and such. Aval b'kohen she'et, perhaps it's called nimlach, like melech. He came to the authorities, to the lashon of melech, to the instructors, to the rabbanim. We have Yisrael, who told Moshe Rabbeinu, go consult with Hashem, say himalech b'shchina. Submit to the authorities. Kohen ha-nimlach. Abal b'kohen she'en nimlach, of a kohen just proceeded without asking. What happens now? And this could actually end up triggering a whole other set of consequences. So let's go through the cases. We have groups of equal amounts. So Rachel had a pair, and when we say achas, one, it means a pair of birds. And today we speak primarily about the kan chayva, obligatory pair, which is meant to be one chatas, one oil. And the blood of the chatas goes downstairs. The lower half of the mizbeach's wall, whereas the oil's blood goes upstairs, the upper half of that wall. She mix it up, do in the wrong place, it's possible. So now we have achas lazu. Rachel had one pair of birds, unspecified. It's a kain stuma, but nevertheless, you know, within that pair you have no more than one chatas and one oila. You can't do a double chatas, you can't do a double oila. So it's one-on-one. V'achas lazu, and it got mixed in with another pair belonging to Leah, which likewise contained a potential chatas and a future oila as well. We turn to the next topic. Or it's two pairs and two pairs, or three pairs and three pairs. Bottom line, they're equal amounts. Shtayim lazu, shalosh lazu, shalosh. What did the kohen do? Asa kulun lamalo. He, for some reason, decided they all belong on the upper part of the mizbeach, like an oila. So he treated all of them like an oila. What happens? The oilais amongst them are okay, but the chatos are pasul. Also, I did them all upstairs. Mechza kosher, mechza pasul. Those that are meant for oila are good, but those that are meant for chatos are pasul. So let's say you have 2 birds and 2 birds, total of 4. He did them all lamala. So Rachel's oila was okay, Leah's oila was okay, but they have to bring the chatos. Kulul mata, perhaps he processed them all downstairs. In this case as well, it's half and half, but it switches. The chatos are okay, but not the oilis. Mechza kasha, mechza pasul. What if he did half upstairs and half downstairs? He split them, 2 and 2. We'll end up with a similar result in terms of the numbers, as we're going to see. Chetzim lamala, chetzim lamatan. So out of the 4, which were meant to have 2 upstairs and 2 downstairs, that's exactly what he did. But you don't really know which ones who they belong to. So worst case scenario, which is the scenario we have to adopt in the whole Masechta, right? It's worst case. We have to take on the worst possible option, which is that both birds that went upstairs belong to the same woman. So instead of doing one upstairs, one down, he did both upstairs. And both that he did downstairs belong to the same woman as well. So what happens now? It's half and half. Of the 2 that he did upstairs, let's assume it belonged to Rachel. The oil is okay, but the chatas is pasul. Of the 2 downstairs, let's assume it belonged to Leah. The chatas is okay, and the oil is pasul. So again, we have 2 okay and 2 not okay. Eshel the one that we'll put on top, mechza kasha, mechza pasul, is half okay, the oila, and half not okay, the chatas. Eshel the ones that were placed on the bottom. Again, the chatas is okay, the oila is pasul, mechza kasha, mechza pasul. This relates to equal amounts. What if they were unequal groups? Rachel had 1 pair, Leah had 2 pairs. The next woman had 3 pairs, and so on and so forth. And they became one happy family. All mixed together in the same cage. 10 pairs for her, and 100 for the other ones. We have 200 and some birds here. What did the Kohen do? Also, kum lamala. He put them all upstairs. Mechza kasha, mechza pasul. So once again, you know for sure, the oilos amongst them are okay, but the chatois are pasul. So it's half and half. Kul lamata, he chose to process them all on the lower part of the wall of the mizbeach. Once again, we have the chatois are okay, but the oilos are invalid. Mechza kasha, mechza pasul, half and half. What if he split the total amount into 2? He thought you can do that. You can just choose whichever he decides right now should be. And he did half lamalon, half lamata. What's the halacha? Meruba kasha. The amount of birds corresponding to the highest number, to the woman with the highest number, the biggest multitude, that amount of birds, that number is kasher. So again, chetzia lamalan, chetzia lamatan, hamruba kasher. Now why is that? Let's go with a simple number, and we'll extrapolate from there on the more complex, multitudes. Let's take a simple case. 2 into 4. Rachel had 1 pair, which is 2 birds. Leah had 2 pairs, which are 4 birds. So 2 into 4. Total of 6. He chose to place 3 on top, 3 on bottom. What is the worst case scenario? That Rachel's 2 birds both ended up on top. And that's the worst thing you can think of here. Now, if that in fact happened, what's the end result? You'll still have 3 birds that are kosher. Why? Because of Rachel's 2 that will put on top, the oil is okay. The chatas is possible. The third one, alongside them on top, I do a 3 on top, 3 on bottom. The third one inevitably belongs to Leah. If we carry on with this worst case scenario hypothesis. So that third bird belonged to Leah, which can be labeled as an oila. So now we have Rachel's oila is okay, one of Leah's oilas are okay. Let's shift downstairs. 3 downstairs, let's assume, worst case scenario, they all belong to Leah. Okay, so how many of Leah's belong downstairs? Just 2 chatois, so it's 1 too many. But the chatois are okay, so she has 2 chatois that are valid. The third bird, if it's an oila, it's possible, so we could only be mashra 2 chatois. In addition to the 2 oilas we spoke about before, one of Rachel, one of Leah, which were placed upstairs, which are okay, so you have 4 in total that are fine, which is exactly corresponding to the number of the Meruba, of the woman with the greatest number of birds, which in this case is Leah, who contributed 4 birds to the mix. So again, when you have uneven mix-ups, Rachel came with 2 birds, Leah came with 4 birds, we have total of 6, 3 on top, 3 on bottom. How many will be kosher? The amount of birds corresponding to the number of that woman with the greatest number of birds. 4. Okay, so we have 2 scenarios discussed so far. We have the equal mixes, in which case we say 50% is okay, 50% is possible. We have the unequal mixes, in which case we say meruba kosher. It's the largest number. Continues the mission, Zakal, as per the following formula. So first we go back to the first case, the equal mixes. Kolmoke. In every situation, Sha'ata Yachol, you have the ability, Lachlik Asakinim, to split the total number of birds in this grand mix. You have the ability to split them in the following manner. In a manner where it will not necessarily result in having the same woman's batch split between upstairs and downstairs, bein lamalan, bein lamatan. I.e., it's very possible, in an equal mix, it's very possible that each woman's batch ended up totally on one side of the equation. Look, she had 2, 4 in total. The Kohen did 2 upstairs, 2 downstairs. Very possible that Rachel's 2 were completely upstairs, and the ones downstairs were completely Leah's. It's the worst case scenario. In that case, we have to go with the 50% rule. Mechza kasha, mechza pasal. Because at worst, that's what happened. And if that's what happened, 2 of Rachel's were upstairs. Oila's okay, the chatas is possible, so it's half. 2 of Leah's were downstairs. The chatas is okay, the oila's possible, so again half. So it's 50-50. Now we shift to the second scenario with the unequal mix. But in a situation, you can't divide the birds in that same manner. And hypothesize that both women's batches ended up completely on one side of the equation. Too many birds for that to happen. It's inevitable. You had to split. For instance, in the case that we spoke before about Rachel having 2 birds and Leah 4, he did 3 on top, 3 on bottom. It's inevitable that somebody's birds will split. In that case, you actually gain. In a case where you can't divide the birds in that manner, unless you end up with the configuration that a given woman's birds were in fact split. In that case, the largest number wins. Hamruba kash, like we explained before. Rachel's 2 mixed with Leah's 4. Ultimately, 4 will be kosher. Why? Because he did 3 on top, 3 on bottom. Assuming Rachel's 2 ended up on the same side on top. One is okay, one is not. The third bird is Leah's bird, which is okay. It's the oila. So you have 2 okay, and then the 3 on bottom will belong to Leah. 2 chatas and 1 oila. 2 chatas are okay, so we have 4 which are okay. Next mission. Chatas azub oila l'zub. Now we have labeled, designated birds. Rachel had a chatas bird, Leah had an oila bird. the Kohen took them together, mixed them up, forgot who's, forgot what's what. Also, kulam lamala, he did them all on top. Half okay, mechza kosher, mechza pasul. The oil is fine, but the chatas is pasul. Kulam lamata, did them all downstairs, mechza kosher, mechza pasul. The oil is okay, but the chatas is okay, but the oil is pasul. Chetzel lamala, chetzel lamata, now he's in trouble. He thought it was one pair, so he did one on top, one on bottom. Now they're both shteim psulis. Why? Because I have to entertain the possibility that he reversed them. Chatas was kreva lamala, which makes her pasul. The oila was lamata, which makes her pasul. Next Mishnah, chatas v'oila stuma mefereshes. We have a labeled chatas bird, a labeled oila bird. We have a pair which had not yet been specified, a stuma, but it's slated to become a chatas and oila. And then we have a mefereshes, a pair which had been labeled. A total of 6 birds. Also kulan lamalan, he did them all upstairs, half and half, mechza kasha, mechza pasul. The oilais are fine, but the chatois are pasul. Kulan, he did them all lamatan, once again, mechza kasha, the chatois are fine, but umechza, the oilais are pasul. Chetzia lamalan, chetzia lamatan, now he's in trouble, he split them. 3 upstairs, 3 downstairs. The only thing that's going to be salvaged is the stuma, which has not yet been designated, which can go either way. So of those 2 birds, one went upstairs, that turned into the oila, one went downstairs, that turned into the chatas, but the other ones had been committed to their cause, and perhaps he reversed them, he made them pasul. In kosher, the only thing that's valid is these 2, mela stuma. The 2 women will split it amongst them, meaning each one will take credit for one bird and they have to fill in the missing birds. The Farshim explained, they purchased it together, it was like a partnership, so each one gets credited for one and they have to make up the missing birds. Next Mishnah, chatois shenus arva b'chayva. You have labeled chatois birds making friends with chayva birds which had not yet been specified, not yet been designated. So let's say it's equal amounts. 10 chatois with 10 unspecifieds, which contain within them 5 and 5, right? 5 potential oila, 5 potential chatas. When the 10 chatois join them, we achieved a total of 20 birds. And what did the Kohen do? And the Kohen did, he split them. He took 10 upstairs, 10 downstairs. How many are valid? Ein kosher, ela minyan chatois b'chayva. You know how many? The number of chatois corresponding to the chatois that were inside the pairs of chayva. There were 10 chayva birds, 5 pairs. Of those 10, 5 were meant for chatas. And only that amount of chatas are good. Why? Let's think about the worst case. What's the worst thing could have happened? He had 20 birds. 10 were chatas belonging downstairs. 10 were 50-50, 5 chatas havela. Of these 20, did 10 upstairs. Worst case, those were the 10 labeled chatas. Pasul, boom, gone. Of the remaining 10 that he did downstairs, 5 were meant for oil, 5 were meant for chatas. Oil downstairs is pasul. The only thing that has a chance is those chatas. The 5 chatas are okay. Next mission. Next halacha, 10 days. What if they're unequal amounts? The chayva was shnayim b'chatas. The amount of birds in the unspecified bunch were double the labeled chatois. Instead of 10 chatois and 10 chayva, we have 10 chatois and 20 chayva. A total of 30 birds. Once again, the Kohen split them. 15 upstairs, 15 downstairs. Mechza kasha, mechza pasul. In this case, 50% okay, 50% pasul. Why? So what happened? He had 10 chatois, 20 chayva, unspecified. 10 are slated for chatas, 10 for oil. He did 15 upstairs, 15 down. What's the worst thing that could have happened? 15 upstairs, 10 of them were the chatos, puzzle. The remaining 5 that were upstairs, they belong to the chayva. They count as oilos. They're okay, so 5 are okay. Let's shift downstairs. We have 15 downstairs. Let's assume 5 are oila, puzzle, and the remaining 10 are chatas, which are okay. So we have, of the chayva, we have 5 oilas upstairs, 10 chatas downstairs, total of 15, which are okay. 15 out of 30 is 50%. Mechza kosher, mechza puzzle. One last case. What if it's chatas shnayim b'chayva? Exactly the opposite. The number of committed chatos were twice as much as the chayva. So let's do a smaller number. We have 8 chatos and 4 chayva. 4 chayva are the unspecifieds, of which 2 are meant to be chatos, 2 are meant to be oila. So 8 and 4 is 12. He did 50% upstairs, 50% downstairs. 6 and 6. What's the worst thing that could have happened? Of the 6 he did upstairs, he could have encountered the chatos, which are not meant to be upstairs. They're puzzle now. So all those 6 are puzzle. Of the 6 downstairs, let's assume 2 were the remaining 2 of the 8 chatos, 6 of which were done upstairs, so now we have 2 more downstairs. They're kosher. Chatas downstairs is kosher. And of the remaining 4 downstairs, let's assume that was the chayva, 2 of which are meant to be downstairs. Right? Chayva has 2 and 2. 2 chatas, 2 oila. 2 chatas downstairs are okay. Pair it up with the 2 chatas we just spoke about a minute ago. So you have a total of 4. And the remaining 2 are the oilas. Oilas downstairs are puzzle. Again, we have 8 and 4. 8 chatos, 4 unspecified. 2 of which are meant to be chatos, 2 oila. Total of 12. We did 6 upstairs. Worst case, those were the labeled chatos, out of location, puzzle. Of the 6 downstairs, first 2 are the remaining 2 of the group of 8 chatos. They're okay. Chatos downstairs. And we have 4 left over. Those are the stumais, 2 of which are chatos, meant for downstairs. So we have a total of 4 downstairs that are okay. We have the remaining 2 of the stumais, which are oila downstairs, which are puzzle. Ha-minyan shebachayva kasher. Again, the amount of birds corresponding to the chayva group, in this case it's 4, are okay. Same exact what happened in reverse. If it's a labeled oila bird, specified oila, which got mixed into chayva. Same exact story with those 3 scenarios. Equal, double this way or double that. Chen oila, shnusara b'chayva, an oila bird got mixed into chayva birds. Equal amounts, and kasha min oila sheb'chayva. So how many oilas are okay? Corresponding to the oilas and the chayva. Basically, we're just basically repeating the same rule as we had regarding the reverse mix. Chayva shnayim ba'oila. If the chayvas are double as much as the oila, mechza kosher mechza puzzle is 50% okay. Oila shnayim b'chayva. If the oila are twice as many as the chayva, ha-minish b'chayva kosher. So then the amount of birds equal to the chayva birds. So it would be 8 and 4. 4 would be kosher. Next mission. Ha'isha she'amra. A woman pledged a donation. Harei like came. Ksheila zachar. If and when I give birth to a boy, not only will I bring my obligatory pair, the korban leida, which is a pair comprised of chatas and oila, I'm going to donate another pair of birds. Now, a donated pair is meant to be a double oila. The older Zachar, she gave birth to a boy, Malada, Mavia, Shtei Kinnim. She brings 2 pairs. Achas, 1 lenidra, as fulfillment of her pledge. So it's 2 oilos, meant to be processed upstairs. One for her obligation. A pair which is comprised of chatas for downstairs and oila for upstairs. So it's 3 oilas and 1 chatas. The kohen is meant to know that. But he didn't realize what's going on. He took delivery of 2 pairs thinking they're standard chayva pairs. Each one comprised of chatas and oila. Now it's not the kohen. She gave it to the kohen. The kohen, ideally, tzarech lasses, he should process them as follows. Gimel preiden, 3 birds, melamalan, upstairs as oilas. 1 lower down as a chatas. Lo yazaken, he did not carry that out. Ella, rather, he did 2 and 2. As per standard, pairs. Shtayim melamalan, 2 on top and 2 on bottom. Without asking, without consulting. So now 1 bird is invalid, because the 2 oilos were meant to be upstairs, and now it was split. So 1 is possible. She has to make up that missing bird. She has to make up that missing bird. And the kohen should process it melamalan as per an oila. That's all good and well. When does she suffice with just 1 makeup bird? That's when she had initially offered her 2 pairs of the same species. You could bring a choice of either tyrant, turtle doves, or bnei yaina, young pigeons. Now you have to bring a full pair of one or the other. You can, mix and match. In this case, she brought both pairs, 4 birds, let's say doves, bnei yaina. So she knows which one she has to make up for, another dove. Suppose mishnei minin. Now it gets a bit more complex. She had delivered 2 pairs of birds, 2 different types. 1 pair of tyrant, 1 of bnei yaina. The halacha is, whichever one is offered first, that counts as her obligation. First you take care of your obligations, then you bring your donations, right? The guy is not sure which one was what. He doesn't know which one he did first, which one second. So now she doesn't know which one was the donation and which one became invalid, and which one she has to make up for. So to cover both bases, she has to bring 2 birds now. Mishneh, meaning if they were comprised of 2 species, tavish time she has to bring 2 birds, 1 of each type, just in case. Third scenario, parshanut-torah. Suppose when she pledged that extra pair of birds, she specified which type. She didn't just say, I'm going to bring a pair. She said one or the other, and she doesn't recall which one she said. But she does know what she brought this time. She brought doves. So not only does she have to make up for the missing dove, but perhaps that wasn't even the subject of her neder. So she has to bring 2 more pigeons. She specified which one she's going to bring, and she doesn't recall which one she pledged. And the whole story happened. The kohen did them all, in a manner that disqualifies one of the birds. She has to bring 3 more birds. So if she had brought bnei yaina, one of them is pasul, she brings 1 of those, and 2 Torah, just in case. Her pledge related to Torah. That is only mimin echad. That's true when, in our case, where she had delivered to the kohen 1 type, all 4 birds of the same species. So she knows which one went awry. So 1 bird has to be made up for that, and 2 more of the other type. Suppose mishnei minin. She had handed the kohen 4 birds, 2 pairs of different types. And we're not sure which one was processed first as the obligatory, which one was the pledge. As we explained before, the first one is automatically de facto chayva. The second one is the donated one. She's not sure which one went first, which one second. So she doesn't even know which one she has to make up for. She doesn't know whether she got anything right. Perhaps the kohen, she had pledged this type, The kohen did the other type as the pledge. So now the only way to cover herself is to bring a new set of each type. Tavi Arba. 2 Teirim, 2 Bnei Yaina, to cover all bases. Case 5. Kav Anidra. Suppose she linked it when she had pledged the pair of oilos. She says, well, it's not a standalone, separate donation. It's in conjunction with my obligatory carbon. She's sort of expanding her oilas chayva. I want to bring a whole, package with it. So she turned it into one package, and she has to bring it together. She can't come back the next day and say, well, okay, we missed the bird, here it is. No. It has to be together with the oila of the chayva pair. Kava nidra. Add another bird. Tzrich laviyad chamesh preiden. So she has to bring 5 additional birds. Why? Because something went awry. She has to replace it. She can't just replace it separately. She has to reactivate the chayva. She has to rebring the oilas chayva, which opens the door, which enables her to now pair up some donations with it. Now, this woman had pledged a pair of birds of a specific type, and she doesn't recall which one. So she has to bring 2 of each type to cover herself, plus the 5th bird to repeat the oilas chayva, which allows her now to bring along the donation as one package. 5 in total. That's only true when her offering to the kohen was of all of the same type, all pigeons. So she knows that the oilas chayva that she's repeating was in fact a pigeon. So she'll bring another pigeon. As we explained before, you can't mismatch. So since the original offering were pigeons, so the chatas there was a pigeon, the oil has to be a pigeon as well. Since she has to rebring that oilas chayv, it has to be the same type of pigeon. Plus the donated birds, a pair of birds, 1 pair of each type to cover all possibilities. What about mishnei minin? Initially, when she delivered to the kohen, it was 2 pairs of different types, 1 pair of each. And again, we don't know which one he did first as the chayva, which one was the nedava. It's possible the chayva was Teirin or chayva was bnei yaina. In order to repeat the oilas chayva, she has to bring both types, 1 of each. In addition to the donation, which again now expanded to 4 birds, 2 pairs of each type. Mishnei minin tavi sheish, a total of 6 birds. Now we're not done yet. Here comes case number 7. It gets more elaborate. So this woman had pledged, not sure which type she pledged, and she also pledged that it should be packaged together. She gave it to the kohen, and listen to what he did. Nasasn the kohen. She handed the birds to the kohen with full confidence. Look what he did. First of all, she had no clue what she gave him. She doesn't know if she gave him these birds or those birds. What type? The kohen proceeded, but he has no clue what he did. You see, at least until now we knew he did 50% upstairs, 50% downstairs, so we know that the chatas was certainly okay. And the oilas chayva as well, but she has to repeat it because it has to be packaged together, etc., etc. But we know something worked. But if he has no clue what he did, it's possible he did everything upstairs, which would invalidate the chatas too. So he has to rebring that too. In this case, she has to bring more. Arba. Listen to this, a total of 7. So 1 up to 7. Why? Arba l'nidra. Okay, this is easy. 4 for the donation. 2 birds of each type. Good. 2 more oilos, which is that repetition, right? Because she has to package it together with the oilas chayva. Since there's a suffix, we don't know which type it is. She has to bring one of each type and pair it up with her donation. Great. But here comes the additional one, v'chatas achas, another chatas. Because the chatas may have become invalidated. V'chatas achas, but here is a chiddush. You don't have to bring two. Pick your choice. Either the Torah or the Ben Yaina. So she has to bring a chatas, just in case it was not kosher. But she need not bring one of each type. You know why? Because although we learned earlier you can't mismatch your pair, one of each type. But what sets the tone? What determines the species? The chatas. So on the chance that the chatas was valid, okay, so she's bringing new oilos, chayva, one of each type, so either way she's good. On the chance that the chatas was possible, she has to bring the chatas, so she'll start fresh, bring a new chatas, and pick your choice. You set the tone. So since she's bringing two oilas chayva anyways, so if in fact this is the kosher chatas, so one of those two oilos, one of each type, will be paired up with this chatas. So she's covered on all bases. There's no need to bring a double chatas. The chatas sets the tone. The chatas sets the type. So if she's starting fresh, this is the chatas that I'm choosing to bring. This type, together with the oil of this type, I'm bringing a double oil, one of each type, one of which will be paired up with this chatas. Ben he says, no, you have to bring a double chatas. According to him, chatas doesn't set the tone, doesn't determine the species of the pair. Actually, it's the first of the pair, whichever one happened to be processed first. It could be the chatas, it could have been the oila. In this case, if the oila was kosher and the chatas was possible, so the oila is the one that sets the tone. And since we don't know which type it was, you have to cover all possibilities, cover all bases, bring out one chatas of each type. So a total of 8 birds. Amr Rabbi Yeshua, Zeu she'amru. It fits very well with the colloquial saying. They say about an animal, it makes more noise after death than when it was alive. Zeu she'amru. Our Mishnah, where we find this developing story, it keeps on growing and increasing. So a small pledge just grew exponentially into this 7 or 8 bird package. Zeu she'amru fits with the following saying: when the ayal, the ram, is alive, it makes one sound, but after his passing, shiva makes 7 sounds. Okay, so how do you have 7? Shiva, how do you have 7? Beis karim, both of his horns can be used for trumpets, or Tesa says over here it means a shofar. Rosh Hashanah, shtei chatzotros, shtei sheikav, his 2 thigh bones, the shnei chalilim, turn into flutes. Oirei, his high latoif, a drum. Meyav, his stomach, linavalim, turn into an instrument called a navel. Some say it's a lyre. B'nei meyav l'kinairis, his small intestines, fashioned into strings for the harp. So you have 2 chatzotros, 2 chalilim, a toif, a navel, and a kinar. A total of 7 instruments. Some add another one. Aft simra lasses tchelas with his tzemer, with the wool. You make tchelas. How does that make a sound? So the Farish explains, we're speaking about the tchelas used for the me'il, the Kohen Gadol, which had the bells jingling on the bottom. So they would make a paman and a rimoin. It would be a blue pomegranate-looking, shaped ornament alongside the bell. So it was bells and pomegranates, and they were jingling. So that's another sound produced from the material of the ayil. Now, why the Tanakama did not include this on his list? So he says because it's not really the blue that makes the sound; it's the bell alongside it that's jingling with it. So that's why it's not. Doesn't really correspond to the instruments. That's why it wasn't put on the list. Rabbi Shimon Akashya Eimer, on this note of improving with time, developing and growing, we have the contrast between Zikni Ha'Ma'aretz, the elders of the ignoramuses, Kol Man She'em Maskinim. The older they get, Da'aton Mitarefes Aleim. Their mind becomes more cloudy, less able. Shenamar Meiser Saflan Amanim, V'tam Zakenim. The logic, the reason of the elders, Yikach takes away. Because if primarily physical, so as time moves on, the physical wanes and weakens. However, the elders who are immersed in Torah are just the opposite. They become more spiritual. Their brain becomes more sharp. Their intellect becomes more able, more deep. The older they get, their mind becomes more settled. There's greater chachma in the elders. The longer they live tzivuna, there's more understanding. Because the older they get, the more Torah, the more spiritual. And the stronger their neshama, and their chachma, and their bina. Amen ken yiratzen. Okay, let's do a quick recap of the last parak. We spoke about a kohen who proceeded without consultations. We have in the first Mishnah equal mix. Depends what he did. If he did them all upstairs, half and half. Likewise downstairs. If he did half and half, then we end up with a similar number of kosher birds. Mechza kosher, mechza pasel. Next Mishnah discussed a mix between two women, equal mixes or unequal mixes. The next Mishnah we spoke about a concern about switching the chatas to the oilas place and vice versa, which makes it puzzle. We had the next Mishnah of chatas oilas tuman or ferocious. What happened there? We had the next Mishnah of three cases of a chatas got mixed into chayva, equal mix, an unequal mix, and the same would happen with an oila mixing with a chayva. And then we had the story of the woman who pledged an extra pair of birds. We have a total of 7 possible scenarios, but metaphored into a huge makeup process of either 7 or 8 birds. We concluded with the pasuk, "B'shishim chachma v'rechem tevuna amen ken yiratzen." All the best. Mazel tov, mazel tov.